We're Out of Here, from FBI, International Season 4, Episode 20, provides a compelling case for the program's existence. Instead of merely being a criminal story that happens to take place abroad, the CBS series offers a case of the week that genuinely capitalizes on its international component. The story demonstrates why Jesse Lee Soffer is a more than capable series leader and why Wes Mitchell is an excellent fly team leader when it leans into that segment of the program. The plot of We're Out of Here centers on an exchange of prisoners between Iran and the United States. The fly team is tasked with getting the 3 Iranian prisoners to the site of the swap, but they quickly find themselves under attack, which causes the entire deal to be imperiled. It may not be the most action-packed episode, but it does display everything that both Wes and Soffer bring to the table, without the normal amount of angst that Wes has been saddled with. FBI, International mostly avoids the biggest issue of Season 4. Wes keeps his personal problems to a minimum. The primary issue that FBI, International has faced is its propensity to turn into the Wes Mitchell show. From seeking retribution for the loss of his partner to being the subject of an internal inquiry to his personal life, Wes has been the subject of most of the subplots. Ironically, the authors maintain that tendency in an episode that does a fantastic job showcasing him. As little as possible. Although Wes's half-sister subplot is discussed at the beginning of the episode and appears twice during the hour, those moments are somewhat short and don't affect the week's case. However, the show does have the usual TV flaw of having comically poor timing. Tyler Booth's decision to give Wes additional unwanted advice about his family while they're driving with one of the Iranian captives in the back seat is one of the most arbitrary instances in which TV dramas remind characters, and consequently viewers, that they have personal issues. Such a discussion ought to be restricted to a later time and location. Especially when it's referencing precise personal details that the third party could, in a worst situation, use for personal gain. It's kind of funny when the duo order the prisoner to shut up when he attempts to intervene, but that doesn't make the scene less weird. With a scene with Delilah and her mother Cassie, We're Out of Here does provide evidence that Wes' father Dean Bartlett is being truthful about her. However, because the audience has no reason to care about them or Dean, this is the episode's weakest section. Does it make a difference if Wes makes amends with his relatives? Furthermore, it appears to be even less significant in light of the fact that FBI, International has been cancelled, so this plotline isn't going anywhere unless Delilah and/or Cassie are kidnapped or injured for dramatic effect and Wes has to save them, which seems unlikely. FBI Season 7 narrowly avoids making a huge mistake that would end the series. FBI Season 7, Episode 20, Startup, nearly falls into the show's most blatant plot trap, which CBS employs, but that's part of what makes the narrative work. FBI, International Season 4, Episode 20 highlights Wes as a leader. Jesse Lee Soffer does just as well in quieter scenes. Wes' leadership abilities are demonstrated in a rather extreme manner in the main plotline. After pleading with the FBI not to send her back to Iran, Zahra Nawaz manages to make her own getaway with the assistance of Mohsen Shah, a friend from her youth. Cameron Vo is forced to shoot Zahra as she grabs for a gun during a subsequent standoff with Andre Raines when they find her at a jewelry store. Much is made of Cameron's guilt, as she fears the American prisoners will be stranded in Iran due to her actions. But this isn't a Cameron episode. It becomes about Wes stepping up to defuse the situation for his squad. Compared to his predecessor, Scott Forrester, who was remarkably composed when necessary, Wes is undoubtedly far more assertive diplomatically. It would be simple to turn Episode 20 into a narrative in which he uses threats and sarcastic remarks to push everyone else around, but that isn't the case. The American envoy Campbell is the one he gets the most upset with. He attacks Cameron for the shooting, and only because he is defending his teammate. The fact that he calls them Quantico dropouts doesn't help either. Wes is making the best decisions he can for the remainder of the episode, and Soffer is fantastic at these quieter times, just as much as when he's being snarky and literally fighting villains. Campbell, to Wes, you were pulled into this to do an impossible assignment. Take the win. Since the drama would arise from the heroes trying to hide their identities, Wes is the one who pushes for revealing the Iranian ambassador the truth, something that most likely wouldn't happen on another show. However, Wes advocates respecting the opposing viewpoint on this show, and he carries out this advice. Furthermore, Wes refrains from taking the kind of quick, harsh action that would make for fascinating television when the truth has repercussions, such as the Iranians wanting to keep one of the American detainees because one of theirs was slain. Rather, he motivates the Fly team to complete their investigation so they may turn Shah over to the Iranians to complete the transaction. Almost everything that happens in this FBI International episode makes sense, and it's great to see an episode that focuses more on problem-solving and international diplomacy. Where can FBI International Season 4 go from here? Episode 20 has a few ideas, yet there's little time left. FBI International Season 4, Episode 20 offers a few small suggestions for the future of the program. Naturally, the issue is that, as a result of CBS's decision to cancel the series, there isn't much, just 2 more episodes remain. Furthermore, the writers didn't appear to be at all aware that a series ending was a possibility, based on the Delilah scenario. However, that needs to be fixed, and the creative team's level of boldness will determine the other tail options. Cameron's decision to shoot Zahra may potentially backfire. Fans are aware that she and Rains are running for the next promotion, so the recent shooting death of her, even if supporters are aware that what transpired was warranted, the record may cause some people to take notice. It is hoped that FBI International will provide an answer about the fate of the Fly team and whether Cameron, Rains, or neither of them receives the promotion. Additionally, it still feels like the authors want to include Booth as a full-fledged team member because of his ongoing presence, despite his complete dedication to his family, and his relationship with Smitty has always been intriguing. The way that relationship has changed is demonstrated by the compliment he gives her in this episode. Season 4, Episode 20 of FBI International demonstrates that there are still a lot of character interactions to work out. We're Out of Here, although its ironic title considering the situation, also demonstrates what makes this spin-off so special. This isn't your average crime show. Even FBI Most Wanted is rehashing some of its old territory. In a way that no other show does, FBI International Season 4, Episode 20 emphasizes the difficulties of combating crime on a global scale.